Hello friends, this is Ganesh. Hope you are doing great. Happy to learn together. In this video, I'm going to explain a specific scenario of the OData servers. It's like normally we create multiple OData services to send different data to the UI application. Sometimes UI requires or UI developer requires, I will call one OData service. So why can't you send data, different datas as an output from your end? Okay, so technically we can say multiple entities. So normally if you use get entity set, you are able to send only one entity, but we can achieve this using a deep entity concept. But deep entity we have seen so far or so far as dependent entity sets. Example, I have a header, I have an item. So based on the header information, the item information also to be populated at the same time and sent back to the UI. But here we are going to see uh, independent datas. Okay, it's like normally we create multiple services for different data. Sometimes what we can decide is why we have to use multiple services. A user, the UI has to call multiple services for one, but for different data. So here we are going to use one service and we are going to send multiple, very technically, internal table content to the UI applications. So here the dependency is not required. So between one internal table to another internal table, or between one entity to another entity, we don't have any relationship. Okay, maybe a related data, I'm saying the field level. So the common field is actually missing. So in that kind of scenario, how we can achieve with the same deep entity concept, with the same navigation property and association. Okay, so let's get into that. Probably if you get this kind of scenario, probably this video is might useful for you. Otherwise, you always go with the independent level data, then deep entity is more than enough. We already have that video. Okay, let's get into the slides. So this is a deep entity which we have seen already. So how we can form a deep entity, or what is the requirement, the need of deep entity. So I have header informations and I have item and have shipping informations. So here all are dependent. So this is one set of entity and this is another one and this is another one. It can have more than one data at a time. It's a kind of a body of an internal table. So here all three entities are related with one particular field. There's nothing but SID in this example. And so here we use copy data to ref as a method which just move the content of this particular structure to a ER entity set. It's like an output parameter to send the data to the UI application. So these are we have already seen. So we are going to use a similar one but quite differently. So our requirement is I need a field one, field two. Consider you can consider as a header. It means header, or this is going to be only one-to-one relation. So it holds only one record. This particular block. And inside I need an array, and it has a different field. So it's 1 to n. So here field 1, field 2, field 11, 12, 13, and I need some other block 21, 22, 20, 24. So meaning there is no common fields between these blocks. Okay, so this is a design. So the previous design is we have one field, at least one particular field is common in all the blocks, but here I don't have actually any common fields, but the UI wants everything in one UI service. Okay. So technically, so this is one entity type we have to create, and this is entity type 2 and entity type 3. So because this design is required, as I already mentioned, we are going to achieve the same scenario with the help of deep entity. So obviously we have to design as it is. Okay. So to replace technically, we want three entity types. Then, so I have created it, and how I'm going to sending the data to the UI application. So obviously we have ER entity set because as I mentioned, This ER entity set is going to be declared with type ref to data. So it's ready to accept any design, whatever design you want is ready to accept that. And this is going to be triggered under the method called get expanded entity set. It's not your normal entity set method. So we need this method to be triggered, okay, to achieve this design. And obviously we have to use copy data to ref method, which we are going to send the information from your internal table, deep internal table to ER entity set. Okay, so these are very it's similar. Now, the get expanded entity set, it needs a triggering point. Okay, so normally if you use an entity set, it goes to try to check your get entity set method only. As we have a deep entity, so we need a navigation path between these two. Okay, normally you have to create a navigation path between your entity types, and in the URI service, the UI developer has to mention the navigation path to get the data of this particular entity types. Okay, and if it is a navigation path, yes, obviously you need an association also. You can see everything is similar so far. Okay, so that is one change is nothing but here we are going to create a manual way of association and navigation path or navigation properties. The reason behind this, it will allow you to create through automatic, like right click create through wizards. Okay, instead of wizard I'm going to do manually. The reason is I don't have any dependent fields. Normally if you through wizards it always asks what is your dependent property or dependent field. So here I don't have any dependent field, so I'm going to try using manual option. Okay, this is one of the way to achieve my design. So my design is I want to send multiple entities in one OData service. Okay, so this is one of the way where we can achieve that particular design. Clear? Then yeah, that's it. So here let's see how we can do it. Let's get into the system now. So this is my system. So here I'm not going to take any scenarios. Simply I'm going to use very generic level. So it's very easy to relate your own requirements. Okay. So here I'm going to create three different entity types like 1, 2, 3, and it has the fields like field 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of. Okay. So let me create one, excuse me, entity type here. Entity type 1. So I need an entity set and it needs a property. So field 1 and field 2. So nothing much. Field 1. It's a key string 10, and this is going to be a field 1. Field 1. Okay. So then let me copy this, create, paste it. Field 2, field 2, and field 2. Okay, so it's not a compulsion you have a same name over here. You can just go with whatever names you want. Okay, so it's done. Let's save it. So now I'm going to copy this property and paste it. So copy here and paste it. So entity type 1 pasted more than once. So go to entity type, just change the name. So this is 2 and this is 3. Okay, then change the properties also. Go to the properties, it's going to be 3 and it's going to be 4. Three and 4. Then same thing, go here, just change the property, and this is 5 and 6. Okay, so almost we are done, and obviously we have to do a deep entity in our MPC extension class. almost done. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to create association. I believe yes, because of the copy paste it's not there, so I need the entity set also. Let me copy this and paste it, and then one more time paste it. So now go to entity set, change the names. So this is 2, obviously this is also 2, and this is 3. So copy paste, because it's almost same, so for time consuming and doing a copy paste, if you want to create your own, just create manually over here, okay, through 3 different entity sets. So here there are 3 different entity types. It doesn't have any common field here, okay, all different. Got it? I'm going to consider this is going to be only one record kind of header, and these are items, so maybe multiple records, okay. So here, header and item, just for a reference, I'm saying, because it's not a independent data, so the data can be anything. Okay. So now what I have to do is I have to create associations. So right click here, create it. So if you use this option, what I have to do is after this, what do you call it? Window, the next window you have an option called dependent property. You have to give what is the dependent property between these two. I don't have any dependent, means common fields, so I prefer to create a manual option. So double click the association, it will come to this area, just create. So what is the name? So here name is entity type 1 and 2. Association is going to create for entity type 1 and 2, so I can say E12. Okay, and what is the principal entity? Entity type 1. So cardinality I go with the M. So and dependent entity 2, and M is 1 to N or 0 to N, I believe, the cardinality. So here there is a no option of asking what is the dependent field between these two. Okay, save it and create one more. This association is between 1 and 3. So principal entity is 1. So why we need association as well? There is no independent fields or the common fields. The reason behind is the get entity set, get expanded entity set. That method triggers using the navigation navigation property only. So for a navigation, I need association. Okay. So to trigger the get expanded entity set, I need these things. Yeah. This is for 3. So save it. So once association is done, create your navigation properties. So navigation properties is coming under entity type 1 only. So just double click here, create. Normally if you use wizard, automatically it creates a navigation path as well as your association set also, but here I don't want association set for this scenario. So navigation path np e12. So what's the relationship name? So this actually refers to your association. So E12, okay, and create one more navigation path 1 3, and relationship is association is E13. Okay, almost we are done. So now just generate your OData project, like create your MPC and DPC classes. Continue, local object. So once it is done, go to MPC and design your deep entity, what do you call, structure or work area, whatever it is, just create it. Okay, just a type you have to create it. So now we are almost done. Entity type, entity set, association, and navigation path. So this is your navigation path. So navigation property. Okay, under your entity type 1. So now go to artifacts and MPC extension artifact, go to type, so change mode, so go here and create it. So deep entity, right? So types, so this is, it's a common we have already seen. So begin of structure deep, so I need first 2 fields from entity type 1. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, and then remaining two are internal tables. So like it can hold more than one data at a time. So the internal table name should be your navigation property name. So np underscore e12 type table of you can refer. This is actually entity type 2, right? So I want entity type 1. Okay, this one. Oh, sorry, this one. Field 3 and 4. So that is ts e type 2. Yeah, got it. With default key, so that is important. And the next internal table name is my navigation property 1 and 3 type table of this one with default key. Close your structure. End of ts deep. Okay, so we are done with the deep entity. Just act toward it. Now go back, you can able to see one line has been added in your MPC extension class. Okay, now go to DPC class and redefine your get expanded entities set. So that is the method where we have to redefine and write the code that is coming under APL serve runtime. This one, get expanded entity set, redefine it. Okay, so the code is quite simple because the source you can decide from where you want the data, like which internal table, sorry, which database table. That's easy, but here I'm going to use, it's a pretty simple way. So first I need entity type 1, 2, right? Okay, let's have this one first. Work area for entity type 2, ent2. Okay, type, copy this because anyway it's already declared in your MPC class, right? Make use of that. So entity type 2, that is actually TS entity type 2. Okay, and then entity type 3, this is entity type 3, and I need one like deep entity, or I can say final. So final should be refer your deep entity structure TS deep. Okay, so first let me fill entity type 1 data because that is going to be only one record, like one to one relation kind of. So I'm going to fill field 1 final, yeah, field 1 value 1 and field 2 value 2. Okay, so this is just one record, and next one I'm going to fill my entity type 1 and 2. So it's like nothing but entity type 2. So I'm going to fill this values, entity type 2 values. So that can be more than one. So here it's entity type 2 and there are two fields. So field 3 is equal to value 1a, like I consider as a record 1. So I can say record 1. Entity type 2 4 equal to value record 1 for field 4, and this is for field 3. Okay, then I need to append this. So append entity type 2 to your final. So final, you have an internal table as per your deep structure is nothing but np e1 2 e1 3. So this is for e1 2. That's it. So you can continue this for multiple records. So this is record 2 for F3 and record 2 for F4. And again, that is going to be added in your body of an internal table. Okay. So it's quite simple, and I'm going to do the same for my entity type 3. So entity type 3, I have field 5 and field 6. So here I can say for record 1 for field 5 and record 2 for field 5. So here the append should happen in a different internal table. So this is 3. This is for NP E13. Okay. And just copy this. So this is for, I'm sorry, record 1 F6. This is record 2 F5, record 2 F6. Hope I didn't do any mistake in the copy paste. Let's see. So almost we are done. It's like added the record in my structure, the first one. It's value 1 and 2, and added the record for my next internal table, and then second internal table and third internal table I have added it. Okay, so here it's look like we are sending different data in one OData service. Okay, so it's pretty common, like to avoid the unnecessary creating of services, different entities set for different data. So if all the different data are required to be displayed in one screen, so why needing multiple services? So one service can able to send multiple entities or multiple different data to the UI application. Okay. So finally, what I have to do was the final append to be happen from final to your deep entity sets. Deep entity actually I have to create. I didn't create so far. So I didn't do the clear statements for work areas. Please do that. So IT final is going to be the internal table. So IT final type table of, already we have this. Just copy this as a structure and paste it. That's it. So here like this. Type table of the same DSD. So we are done so far. Save it, check it. Yes, there is an error. Entity type 3 field 5. What is that error? Without header. Okay, type 3. How I declared it? Oh, it's wrong. So I declare the table type directly. So it should be a structure. Okay. Okay, that's fine now. So no errors. And finally, I have to move this IT final data to output parameter. Go to signature of this method, and the parameter name is ER entity set that actually declared using type ref to data. So it's a dynamic space. Whatever structure you send, automatically it's adapt for that same. Okay. So for this, we have to use a method called copy data to ref method. Okay. So go to Control F6, object pattern. So that copy ref2 is coming under if MGW conversion service runtime interface. So IW PEP if underscore MGW. Yeah, this one. Okay, and this one of the method is copy data to ref. Okay, so here is going to be IT final here it's your output parameter, it's ER entity set. Okay, act toward it. So now we have to create a service and you have to call the service using navigation property name. Okay, just quick, I'm doing the create option. Obviously, I'm not remembering those things. Oh, sorry, transactions codes. Maintain service, execute, add service, see local, CGI star. So I have one selected. So these are common, we have seen many times. So I'm going a little faster here. Continue creating a service. You'll get a box saying metadata loaded successfully. Go back, find the service, CGI star, and click SAP Gateway Client. And if you add here only with, come on, yeah, 1 second. So this is actually an error because some configuration is got again changed. So let me just check it out and come back. Okay, suppose if you get that issue, not only this, any time if you get that, so you have to just change your profile parameter, that what SAP suggests. So it should be 1 or 2. It was actually 3. I changed to the value 2. So now go back to my gateway and execute. Yeah, that's fine. Now go to entity set, entity type 1 set, execute. It fails because it's trying to, because we are executing with entity set, it's trying to find the method implementation of get entity set. But so now we have to use the navigation option because we need that get expanded entity set method to be triggered. So for that, the options are dollar $expand. We already have seen this, equal your navigation property name. Navigation property name is E12 and E13. So E12 execute. So now you will get only one information. So obviously you'll get a header and then entity 2 values. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, one mistake I have done. It's not filled. I will show you why it does. So this is value 1 and value 2. Header is coming, but not the items because it's keep on trying for different entity name. We have 3 entities, right? But there is one check to be included in your code. What happens is it actually filled, but it's again is refreshed because of the other entities. So make sure the entire code, if you want, you can keep it in here as well. So the entire code is executes only for your first entity. So if IV entity name, this is one of the parameter here, method parameter is nothing but, so IV entity underscore name. Okay. Is equals or the entity type name, I'm not sure, ET1 I believe. Let me check quickly. Okay, E type 1, E caps. Okay, so E type 1, then the entire code should execute. So only for that. And if act over it. Now go back and execute. Now see whether the values are coming or not. Yeah, so here it's value R2, R3, value R1. So record 1 for field F3 and record 2 for field F4. Okay. And if you want your another navigation also to be triggered, so go with just maintaining or just mention that navigation path also. And now what I'm going to do is let me go with the option called JSON. So it's easy, very easy to just see the data and execute. So here results and field 1, field 2 consider as a header only one value, and then NPE13 results are coming. So field 1 is like field 5 and 6, value 1, and yeah, value 1, and this one is second record, value 2. This is for NPE13, and then NPE12. So you have other records. Okay, so the idea is, so we are here, we are sending multiple entity sets in one OData service. Okay, so this is first E12 and this is E13, and here you have a kind of header. Okay, so this could be an idea how to send. This is one of the idea I can say, how to send multiple data or multiple internal table or multiple entities to a UI application under one OData service. Okay, so hope this approach is useful for your own requirement. Please do it, and please do some other R&Ds as well, so we have some other options also. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and see you in the next video. Bye and happy learnings.